Hello, YouTube. Good morning. It's another week, another piano lesson from Mike in Detroit. How's everybody doing? We're going to slice this at late beginner. And as the title suggests, we're going to do some old school gospel, some old walk around, walk up the keys, down the keys, walk from one chord to another chord. This is how my grandmother used to play them. So, love that sound. It's not going to be so jazzy, but it's definitely old school gospel. We're gonna end up with a song that we can apply this to, but it can apply to any old school hymn, old school congregational song, whatever you want to apply it to. But it's a skill for those of you who play in church. This could come up. So let's, you know how we do. Instead of just telling you to copy me, let's think this through so that we can know not only what we're playing, but build it up from the ground up. Let's work in the key of C, obviously. Now you eventually gonna have to apply this to any key you play in. But for now, let's do the key of C. Now I have a C chord in root position. First thing I gotta know is my diatonic harmony. Two ways to know that jazz-wise: C major, that's the one; D minor, that's the two; E minor, that's the three. Three is minor in any key, by the way. Four is major in the key of C, that's an F major. G is major, or if you go to seventh chord, it's a dominant chord. Six is A minor. In triad land, we're going to call this a seventh chord. It's a B diminished. But if we played it as a seventh chord, it's a B minor 7 flat 5. And then we're back to C. Now, in order to walk, you need some kind of beat. So you're going to be, see, I just walk from C, D. I'm just following, watch my left hand. Just walking from, if you listen to old school gospel, you hear that all the time. Maybe I need to go back. So anytime I see a chord sheet or a praise sheet that says the first chord is C and I need to get to F, I can just walk there. So that's root position. So what you want to do in your practice time is you want to walk that all the way up and down, weave it around, up, down, up. So this is a coordination between your right hand and your left hand. It's just trailing along, playing the bass notes, right? There's other portions we could use, but let's keep it simple for now. Clearly, this root position puts the fifth on the top. And all these are putting the fifth on the top. So G is the fifth of C. A is the fifth of D. B is the fifth of E. C is the fifth of A. You get the idea? So play with that. Matter of fact, let's do that just for a couple of seconds. Well, let's play with that. So we got... Now you notice that I'm going straight scale-wise. So I'm making scale-wise movements. But I don't have to do that. Once you have that, you can start skipping. Maybe you go... kind of doing almost like a block chord kind of thing. Very scale wise. Well, maybe you want to do a skip. Something like that. That's a prelude to walking. And don't worry, we'll build this up a little bit at a time. So get that root position. Now a triad has the 3 inversions, so that's its root position. Let's go to second inversion. By the way, when I'm tend to be walking, this one happens to be my favorite. Let your ear be your guide. Now we can do the same thing. Now in the key of C, that's pretty easy because it's all white notes. So we're doing C, second inversion, D minor, second inversion, E minor. Play with that a little bit. Now that second inversion is putting the 3rd of the chord on the top, not the 5th. See the relationship between this C and that top note is E. That's the 3rd. That's the 3rd of all of these chords. Good practice. Oops. Let's see if you recognize this Luther Vandross song. Put it in the comments if you got it. Okay, so that's second inversion. We can also do first inversion. We can do the same thing. That's putting the root on top. Again, know your scale and know your inversions. You got it. It's easy in the key of C. You move to a different key, you really got to put your thinking cap on and practice that because, I don't know, let's take F. Just for real quick. And let's just take root position. Let's say we're working on the key right now we got to do some shifting. Right? 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 So you got to incorporate knowledge of your major scale and your triad portions. Let's do maybe second inversion, right? So work those up in a variety of keys. Now go to the next inversion, and the next inversion, until you can just walk around the key. Let's go back to the key of C, until you got it like that. Now I am definitely doing the jazz diatonic harmony. A few videos ago, I taught you that gospel, a lot of old school gospel, do not follow that jazz rule. So real quick, let me review that in case you want to add that to your practice. So on the 1 chord, let's just do root position. On the 1 chord, it's the same thing. On the 2 chord, you might see a 2 chord, but you might see a 4/2, like that. On the 3 chord, you might see a 3 chord, or you might see a 1/3. So watch this, watch this. That's another way to walk, because 1 chord, 4/2, 1/3, and then the 4. 5 chord. Now you might see on the 6 chord a 1/6, like that. And then most certainly you're gonna see in gospel a 5/7. 5 in the right hand, and then we're back to 1. So the first way I showed you is kind of the jazzy way to do it with all the minor chords. The old school gospel way, once again, is 1. You could see 4/2, 1/3, 4, 5, 1/6, 5/7, and back to 1. So if you're walking with that in mind, it would sound something like that kind of walk to the 4 chord. Practice it both ways and in all the keys. So again, just not to make these videos 9 hours long, I'm just trying to give you some direction and show you kind of exactly what to practice. Now to get fluent, that's my favorite word this month, to get fluent. Guess what you got to do? You got to go and find all these voicings in a variety of keys. Now let me move a song onto the screen. I just found this on the internet. Matter of fact, it's a chord sheet of Blessed Assurance, and I know you can't see that, so I'm gonna load it. Maybe. What is the trick to blowing stuff up? Nope, that wasn't it. Okay. So let's look at the first few chords of Blessed Assurance. We got Blessed Assure, that's a C chord, we're in the key of C. And then Jesus is F, back to C. Jesus is mine. So let's just work with that first line. So we got a C chord, moving to an F chord, and then moving back to a C chord again. So our minds think we got a 1 chord, moving to the 4 chord, moving back to the 1 chord. So let's walk that. So, and we're going to get some intermediate stuff going here too while we're at it. So we're going to start with this chord. Well, the first thing we better do is figure out the melody. So if you got to jot that melody down or commit it to memory, so we got starts on the E. So how would we work that? Now we know that we got a C chord moving to an F chord back to a C chord, or we have a 1 chord moving to its 4 chord and then back to 1, 1, 4, 1. Very common in gospel, that 1, 4, 1, that amen kind of thing. So we got this, there's our melody note, but the C chord is delayed. It's on sure. It's not on blessed. It's on sure. So we're gonna end up here. Sure. So what do we do on the blessed part? Blessed Ashma. Okay, so what can go before a C chord? Well, it's 5 chords. So we're gonna do this. One of the most common sounds in old school gospel is this 4 chord over 5 bass. That's what we're going to do on the bless. Now it's going here. All this is a G chord. Okay, what do you want to call this? A G. I just call it a 4 or 5, but if we wanted to analyze it, there's a flat 7, there's a 9, there's a 13th, and there's a 13th. Now we're going to drop some fingers to get a diminished sound in here because the melody told us to do that. Now we got a G7 flat 9 sound. Okay, review. We're going to squeeze some stuff that we've talked about in other videos. My right hand is playing a diminished chord with my left hand stayed on G. We got this. Oh, anytime I want a flat 9 sound, I need to go from the bass up a half step and form a diminished chord, which is exactly what I have in my right hand. Remember, I made a whole series of videos on diminished chord. Doesn't matter that that note's in the middle, it's the same diminished chord. So we got this. Blessed assurance. Now, you say, well, I didn't see any walking, the bass will stay the same. Because in a minute you will. So we got blessed. Let me go slower. Now we sure. Now, we did a 5-to-1 progression. We could have done a 2-5-1 progression. Let's see what that would have sounded like. Now, there's the 2, and look at my left hand. Very similar sound. In old school gospel, it's more primary chords, so we'll just stay with the 405. So it sounded like walking, but it's just right hand walking. Okay, challenge. How many keys can you play that little segment? Can you get fluent in that little segment in 12 keys? 4 or 5. Find that in another key, or in all the other 11 keys. It's just an F major 7 chord, 4 major 7 over 5. If you don't want to find it by brain power or memory power, I could just walk this up a half step, right? And I can walk every last finger up a half step. Now I got G flat major over A flat. A flat is the 5 of D flat. So I just walked it up a half step. Let's go back to the key of C. So now, your task is to get that little segment. Now let's talk about this chord I have here. That's the 1 chord. If you've gone through my intermediate series, 3 years ago now, 4 years ago now, this chord is very familiar to you. Fifth on top is a 1, 7, 9, 3, 5 voicing. I use it all the time. I can be half asleep and pull this thing out because I've got it practiced. If you're not up to that, just try it here. But when you get to intermediate, you want this color. One more time. So now we're on sure. Runs. Now we got to get to the 4 chord. Watch this. Okay, watch my left hand. So we're on sure. Now the left hand's coming up, but the right hand's fumbling around. I'm going to go very slow. just walked from the one chord to the four chord. Now I got to get back to the one chord. Let's just walk again. Okay, let's try the whole thing together. Now when you're on one chord, you got a little space, throw that forward, back, 4-1 again. Now we got to get to A minor. We got to get to the sixth chord. So we're gonna end up here. 4. Oh Lord divine. Oh, so yeah. Okay, so let's figure out. So where were we? Let's start all over again. So now we're on one chord, and we got to get to the sixth chord. So, well, let's see. We can go. Now, what's the melody doing? So if I'm gospel-y, I'm going to stay on this one chord. So I'm going to go. So the melody, I'm following the melody in this little space of the song. So this melody saying, that might ding dong, ding dong, ding. Both of those, so I get the illusion of walking, but like the beginning, is my right hand is bouncing around. So if I was jazzing this up, okay, well, how do I get to an A minor? Well, let's back up a second. One chord that needs to get to A minor. Well, there's a few ways to do it. One chord, B minor 7-5, now we're thinking A minor. Now, I could incorporate this into this Blessed Assurance song, but it's going to jazz it up for sure if you want that sound. So I'm on one chord. Okay, then my suggestion is I might do that when the congregation is not singing. Maybe somebody's talking or something like that. Might throw my little pads on, and now I'm playing just softly in the background. Now I got to get to the sixth chord, so I might go there. I went ahead a little bit. Don't worry, I'll tell you about all that. So, but when the congregation is singing, this will throw them off. That'll throw them off, because they're not used to that. That's jazzy stuff. But if nobody's singing and you're just doing background stuff, or you got a jazzier kind of singer, well, that's the way to do it. So, from a walk standpoint, so we're on one chord. I might just stay on C and use my inversions to get the simulated walk. So we have 4, some, I think the sheet said a G chord. A minor likes to go to D, so I'm gonna go to a G chord in my right hand with a D in the bass. Let's see what. Let's see. That sounds okay, but I like the D in the bass. And I like that juxtaposition between a D7, for you intermediate people, the dominant chord is coming to a minor same chord. There's a dominant, that's tension being released in the D minor chord. Oh, well, no, let's walk that. Now I'm gonna go here. Maybe I will video on this voice. That is a C, G sus chord. That's just money. Learn this chord in all 12 formations. It's got G all over the place. G, G, G. And you can splash that. So let's go back to the top again, very slowly so you can catch these. Now let's walk. Now, the next part is the same as the beginning. Now we're going to go back here. Let's see. Man, I went the other way that time. Let's see, let's go. Now here again, we got praising my Savior. So we need to end up on a D minor chord. So I went 1, 2, 3, back to 2. So I went. See, I told you that one little stuff works. So you can take any song like this, and if you've done your little preliminary work, your triads, your major seventh, you're either going to do gospel walk or jazzy walk, or some combination thereof. You're in business and you have to work it out in the practice. Some of them play real nice on the piano. Okay, so now to the 4. 1 to the 3 to the 4. There are 500 songs for that person. But 3 can go to 4 or 3 can go back to 2. So let's say I'm going from 3 and I want to end up on 2. Well, I can look how this lays on the piano. And then 2, look how this lays on my nice. Let me do that again. 1, second inversion by the way. 3, 2 to 2. And I just chromatically walk down because it just lays so nice. It's just sitting there saying, play me, play me, play me. Now you can do that in any key, but in this key is just tailor-made for lays under the fingers very nice. And also this 5 sus chord does it as well. Now, one last thing, and then I think you got the material you need to work on is walking around stuff. Walking is an old school staple, but it's like sauce. I mean, if you do it too much, so let's say if somebody's praying or it's meditative time, well, you do not want to be walking around. That's going to draw attention to you. It's really for when the congregation is singing, in my opinion. One of the things I rail against is overplaying in church. Remember, your job is support, not to be shown off. So let's take the same chords and let's take a walk out. I know I started with the walk, but let's figure out. So we need a C chord. So we got it. So that time I was incorporating a little bit more left hand, like tennis, that kind of thing. I was letting my left hand create that soft rumbling, create that atmosphere. So my left hand had a different role than just trailing around. And my left hand has got a little bit more soft, melodic things going on. A lot of things you can do, rude. dancer, pianist, best friends, best day in Valentine. But the point I'm making here is there's a time and a place for everything. So have a full toolbox available to you. So the last thing you want to do is everybody's at the altar, kneel down, tears coming out of somebody's eyes, and they're wanting to meditate and get into a reflective space, and you show up and start doing, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Now there's time for that. Everybody's singing and clapping their hands. Yes. But that does not, to my ears, sound like prayer time. So don't say, well, Mike in Detroit told me to do it. No, I did not. I did not. I said read the room. Read the room. And all church fans have to read the room. Read the room, and so maybe you want to go. Something like that. Soften it down and get less busy as you read the room. Or somebody's reading the announcements or whatever. You want the attention on them or on the spirit rather than on your piano playing. Okay, so that's kind of there's more to this walking thing, and we can get into it more lower in the comments if you want more of this. But that's kind of the wet your whistle, get you started on walking around. Don't forget also to take this to other keys. Take it to B flat. Take it to other keys and walk around those keys. Get from one chord to the next. Pick your favorite song and see how much you can walk around that song in between, connecting these the chords that you see on the chord sheet. Mike in Detroit, hopefully this was helpful to someone. You know what to do. Drop it in the comments. Tell me what you want to see. And if it helps someone, that's my only goal here. For beginning and intermediate pianists. God bless you. You can play too. Okay, Mike in Detroit, signing off.